Staff meetings do not have to drain you and your team. I'm going to talk about 3 things not to do at staff meetings, 3 things you'll want to do at staff meetings, and 1 kicker that is really going to energize your team as you head out the door at the end of your staff meeting. We all know that staff meetings are important. We have to have them on a regular basis, but man, they can become sort of like a slog, something we have to get through. Well, that may be because you're doing these 3 things wrong at the end of your staff meeting. 1 is if you've been pushing it till the end and you got lots to cover, you might kind of end in a rush. That leaves everybody feeling frazzled. You might also end on a sour note, and that is definitely not the way you want people to leave your staff meeting. What's going to happen then is they're going to start gossiping to one another and chatting with one another, and things are going to get a little bit toxic. Deal with it before you walk out. And then the 3rd thing not to do at the end of the staff meeting is just have somebody give their presentation and go on and on and on, and everybody's falling asleep. You do not want to end the staff meeting on any of those 3 ways. The first thing you need to do to end your staff meeting effectively is make sure that you've got the accountability covered. Who said they would do what and by when? And write this down. Make sure that you know who's been identified as taking on this task, what they're going to do by when, there's a due date, and know what's going to happen. If you notice that you're the one taking on the majority of those tasks, you might want to pause and say, who can help me take some of this off my plate? Who I need to let go of some of this? Who can help me? Or start looking at which of your team members do you need to grow? Who can help you take on a certain task because that's their strength? Start to share the responsibilities. Your job is to lead, not to be the workhorse. The number 1 most important thing to do at the end of your staff meeting is to share some appreciation and recognition. The key to this is sharing specific recognition or appreciation. Good job, guys, last week. That's not specific. But when you can stop and say, I appreciate that you guys did the extra effort to make sure we were seeing as many clients as we could last week. We upped our visitation by 10% last week. Thanks for doing that extra work. Or, hey, Jeremy, you know what? I seen you took your client to the corn maze and you invited some of the other clients. That's great at being creative about how we're getting out. There are 2 reasons why it's critically important to do this at the end of your meeting. 1 is it's connected to engagement. We know that the majority of people in organizations aren't engaged, and we want to do the work to get our employees engaged. Gallup surveys have realized over years and years of research that one of the big things people want is regular recognition. And not like once every 6 months, but once a week. And so this is a great place to provide that recognition so that you're going to increase engagement. The second reason why this is so critically important is that it's going to help you boost the energy at the end of the meeting. If you've sat there for an hour and it's been draining and we're going through stuff and it's heavy and it's difficult and it's more work, you need to send your people out on a positive note with some good mojo happening. And by doing that appreciation, that specific recognition for something done well, for some contribution, input into something that really needed for speaking their voice, whatever it was, you're going to send everybody out on a dopamine high. And man, oh man, they might be chatting to each other, but in a way different way that's going to both boost them and their team and then ripple out into the rest of the world. Do the work to end your staff meetings on a positive note by giving some recognition and appreciation, and you'll find that those staff meetings change for all of you, and you all are finding them more enjoyable, engaging, and creating energy in the rest of your space.